This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern was in Dunedin opening up the books at a local school. Red poppies will be blooming again this ANZAC Day thanks to Canterbury volunteers. And Gore's residents and visitors encouraged to explore the town's public parks. Good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern visited Dunedin today, stopping in at some local businesses and a South Dunedin school. She'd originally been due to visit Bathgate Park School last year, but fog at the airport stopped her from landing. Pupils this morning were keen to show off their literacy skills before the PM shared her favourite book with the class.
Security was unusually tight at Dunedin's Bathgate Park School this morning, welcoming a special guest as the Prime Minister arrived to talk literacy. Jacinda Ardern was given a tour of the school before being welcomed to the Haumia Tiki Tiki class she'd promised to visit last year, after several of the pupils wrote to her. The youngsters lucky to get a special Q&A session with the Prime Minister.
Now when I ask my daughter, who's only 3, what I do, she says you do busy work and you eat chocolate. So that sounds like a pretty great job, right? Yeah. Well, the easiest way to describe what we do at the Beehive is that we make the rules for the country to try and keep everyone safe and happy and well.
Tairi MP Ingrid Leary also joined the visit. Her son actually attends Bathgate Park School. The Southern MP sneaking a quick cuddle before the PM shared stories with the class as part of the Read, Share, Grow literacy program.
He was in the class she went to, and that is actually by coincidence rather than design, because this is one of the schools that is doing the Read, Share, Grow program. And I was really keen to showcase that program because it's being piloted in South Dunedin. And
is run by the National Library. Bridget Shawman is one of the people leading the literacy charge and says having the Prime Minister's backing is a real boost.
Oh, fantastic. How often do you get that opportunity? That was really, really cool. Yeah, and it's really nice to see her really showing heart and really selling the message to the children about reading for pleasure.
Bathgate Park School Principal Katrina Robertson says it was great to have the Prime Minister visit the school. The pair having time to chat about how the school is coping in COVID times and about the literacy trial.
It was really exciting today to be able to share the different ways that we have literacy involved in our school. So acknowledging the Read, Share, Grow, but also our Toi readers, our Friday readers and the other organisations that actually support us.
The Prime Minister joined with local Labour MPs in making a number of other stops around Dunedin, including a visit to whānau health provider Arai Te Uru and the Petri Dish shared offices. In Dunedin, The South Today.
AntiMandate protesters who've been camping out in Christchurch's Cranmer Square have packed up and left the inner city park site. The group have been occupying the Cranmer Park area since mid-February. However, camping out there was in breach of Christchurch city bylaws, with police and council officials telling protesters they had until today to leave. The group had been in regular communication with the council and packed up peacefully. These patches of dying grass, one of the few signs of their former presence. A small group of protesters have also been camping out in Dunedin's Octagon over the same period. COVID-19 Response Minister Chris Hipkins and Mayor Aaron Hawkins say it's now time for the Dunedin group to also pack up and go home. ANZAC Day is still 6 weeks away, but work is already underway on one of the day's most well-known symbols. Red poppies are being put together in Christchurch, and after a year's break due to COVID-19, they're expected to be on sale around the streets again from mid-April.
The iconic red ANZAC poppies are back on display. The ANZAC poppy celebrates its 100th anniversary this year, but in 2021, the annual Poppy Day fundraiser for the New Zealand RSA had to be cancelled due to COVID-19 issues. Retiring National President BJ Clark of Kaiapoi says the loss of Poppy Day almost crippled the organisation and could have cost the country one of its major privately funded welfare agencies.
The poppy collection is the only opportunity we have to get funds for our welfare, our support organisation, to ensure that we can support those veterans and their families that have served. From the funding side of it, it's been very difficult. We did receive some government funding last year, which without that we would have just sunk.
The annual Poppy Day appeal was started in 1922, and about 1.2 million poppies now go on sale across the country in the week leading up to ANZAC Day. But unlike many items, they're not made overseas and simply imported. New Zealand's poppies are still proudly made in Christchurch by a team of volunteers.
A lot of the volunteers we've got here don't have direct military or ex-military link. It's contributing, to the RSA, and the good thing is, it's going to welfare.
It's not all handmade. The machine used to produce millions of poppies needed each year was designed by a team of engineers from the University of Canterbury 8 years ago. Their brand new poppies will be hitting the streets next month. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Truck drivers don't think the proposal of traffic lights at a troublesome North Dunedin intersection is a good idea. Numerous crashes, many involving large trucks, have occurred over the years at the intersection of the State Highway 1 at Pine Hill and Great King Street. Wakakutahi New Zealand Transport Agency is considering a $3 million option for the problem intersection, which could see new traffic lights installed at the bottom. However, PBT Group Dunedin manager Glenn Hallberg warns traffic lights there could create dangers for truck drivers. He says truck brakes tend to get quite hot on the 4-kilometre descent down the hill towards the gardens. Consultants promoted an overpass as their preferred option, but Wakakutahi says the $24 million cost was unlikely to be economic. Residents and visitors to Gore are being encouraged to explore the town's public parks this month. A list of suggested activities has been posted online, with prizes on offer for taking photo evidence, trying out the outdoor activities and one of the town's 3 main parks.
Get out and explore Gore's 3 main public parks. That's a message from organisation Active Southland. Coordinator Gemma O'Neill says by taking part in the Give It a Go challenge, people may discover things to do in Gore's parks that they didn't know about.
You might learn something new that you didn't realise it was available in Hamilton, Bannerman or Dollamore Park.
With everything from playing cricket at Hamilton Park to admiring fallow deer at Bannerman Park, Active Southland is inviting families to go to their website and read the list of dozens of suggested activities. Park goers can then post photos of what they did on the Active Southland Facebook page and be in to win prizes.
It's a cool chance to get out and about and do something new, potentially win some prizes for it, and just have some fun locally. Being active, activities are really good for our well-being.
The public are also invited to give feedback as to what could be done differently or better.
Let us know what else people would like about being active in Gore, what else they'd like to see in the future, and how they've found the current activation that we've got going.
The Give It a Go challenge runs until Sunday the 13th of March. In Gore, the South Today.
Whai Yakane, still to come on the South Today, a large cash injection for Otago community groups, and a popular Queenstown Winter Festival has the lights turned off.
COVID-19 has dealt Queenstown a body blow over the past 2 years, bringing the question of how to diversify the town's economy into sharp focus. I'm Southern Issues reporter Daisy Hudson, and I've been examining how the jewel in New Zealand's tourism crown is reinventing itself. You can check out that story, and many others, in Saturday's Otago Daily Times.
Hi, we're Age Concern Otago.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities, including indoor walks.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
your joy with Jazz, the next generation from Honda.
My mate John's a real armchair warrior, because he's fighting high-priced lounge furniture. He's taken 25% off all lounge, all 25% off.
And my mate John.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi there, guess who? You recognise the eyes? Oh, okay, it's a haircut. Anyway, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores are carrying on as usual. Despite what's happening in the world, we have got some great stock for you. Personally, I've spent 50 years in this business and we have some excellent supplier relationships. We've got great stock, it's hand-picked, it's here, it's on time, and it's ready for this great summer.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So, as my favourite cut says, keep calm and carry on.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Welcome back. The Otago Community Trust has announced grants totalling more than $900,000 for its first funding round of the year. The Trust supporting 47 community organisations across a range of areas around Otago with a strong focus on capital projects. Otago University Students Association received $150,000 to assist with replacing the roof on its Clubs and Societies building. $91,000 was awarded to the Araita Uru Marae Council to assist with building repairs to help marae flats meet healthy home standards. And plans for a new peninsula pump track got a boost with a $70,000 grant to help create an accessible facility in the Portobello Domain. Dunedin police are appealing for witnesses to come forward following a serious crash between a truck and a pedestrian late yesterday afternoon in North East Valley. Dunedin's North Road was closed to traffic for a period, with diversions in place for northbound and southbound traffic. A male pedestrian was critically injured after being hit by a truck. Passers-by initially performed CPR on the man, with St John staff then treating him at the scene. He was later taken to Dunedin Hospital in a critical condition before being transferred to Christchurch for specialist care. Police want to hear from a man in a silver vehicle who spoke to the truck driver after seeing the crash. The Serious Crash Unit is investigating. Organisers of Queenstown's popular Luma Light Festival have reluctantly cancelled this year's event. Organisers are disappointed to be pulling the plug this early, but say the harsh reality is there's too many uncertainties facing this year's festival. Last year, Luma drew more than 60,000 people and pumped an estimated $2 million into the local economy at the start of winter. Organisers are planning a smaller program of lower risk events across the Queenstown region instead. In today's Global Insight, Professor Robert Patman examines the ongoing war in Ukraine after Russia invaded 2 weeks ago. The international affairs commentator says the Russian economy will not be able to cope with a full-blown insurgency if it tries to take over the Ukrainian government.
The Russian invasion of Ukraine
The largest land war in Europe since World War II continues to dominate headlines around the globe. It looks like the US and NATO will do anything within its power to avoid this war escalating beyond the borders of Ukraine. So what is the West's strategy in this? What is it aiming for now?
I think the strategy is to give the Ukraine as much support and assistance as it can. Countries like Sweden, for example, are transferring weaponry to the Ukrainian government. They're getting a lot of equipment. So I think the strategy, if there is such a thing, I think the response, which is probably a better word, of the West in opposing Mr. Putin is to isolate the regime diplomatically and economically, which they've succeeded in doing through a combination of sanctions and diplomatic pressure. And in addition, to fortify the Ukrainian resistance. Of course, in the meantime, this is taking a terrible toll on Ukraine. Well, we're witnessing an unprecedented slaughter. It's estimated the Russian army may have lost us up to 10,000. Well, some intelligence agencies place it between 2,000 and 4,000 in the first week's fighting. Another one from Russia put it as high as 10,000. And there'll be a lot of very grief-stricken families in Russia. So, yeah, I mean, it seems to me that from Mr. Putin's point of view, things are not turning out as planned. He says it's all going according to plan, but I think the Ukrainians seem to be utterly determined. And you know what, Bruce, there's another point to note here. It's not just a military disaster for Mr. Putin, it's a political disaster, because even if he advances on Kiev and overthrows the regime, and that's still possible given, you know, the military preponderance that Russia has, he will not be able to establish a pro-Putin regime that's accepted by the Ukrainians. They've made that quite clear. So what he's facing up to, even if he militarily overruns the country, he will face a full-blown insurgency. And the Russian economy can't sustain this sort of thing. It was already struggling before they entered Ukraine. So it's looking, I think, quite grim for Mr. Putin, and of course the speculation that he may be challenged domestically.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Catch us next time on Global Insight. Noho ora mai.
And you can watch the full-length interview online at odt.co.nz. E whai akane, after the break on South Today, Highlanders players caught flouting mask rules while flying high, and an experienced team claims the 10th edition of the Godzone adventure race.
Living Well Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
My mate John's a real armchair warrior, because he's fighting high-priced lounge furniture. He's taken 25% off all lounge suites, armchairs, two-seaters, three-seater recliners, corner suites, shaders, sofa beds, lifted chairs and more. All 25% off. Plus pay it off over 24 months interest-free. This weekend at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, and online.
Get that furniture from Stafford Street. my mate John.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Welcome back. The Chief Executive of the Highlanders has confirmed allegations that some players ignored requests from cabin crew to wear masks on a flight home from Wellington on Sunday. Roger Clark says he was disappointed by the behaviour of the players, which has been labelled as unacceptable. The team was flying home to Dunedin on Sunday morning after their 21-14 loss to the Hurricanes. Another passenger on the flight raised concerns that some players were walking around the plane without masks on and were seated beside members of the public. It follows revelations COVID-19 has made its way into the Highlanders squad ahead of the match against the Blues in Auckland tomorrow, although it didn't prevent them from naming a team. Returning champions have reigned supreme at the gruelling Godzone adventure race. Team Avaya have won the event previously, with the team of Nathan Fave, Stu Lynch, Sophie Hart and Chris Fawn taking out this year's Godzone around midday. The champion team claimed the trophy after 7 days of racing, with the final leg a 19-kilometre trek from the Taieri River mouth to Brighton Beach. This was the 10th edition of the race, with a challenging 710-kilometre course to traverse this year on foot, by mountain bike and paddling in kayaks. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern was in Dunedin opening the books at a local school on the new literacy program. Red poppies will be blooming again this ANZAC Day thanks to Canterbury volunteers after COVID curtailed the RSA fundraiser last year. And Active Southlands is challenging residents and visitors to Gore to put their best foot forward and explore the town's public parks. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome Associate Editor Joe Simpson, and what can we expect to see?
Hi, the Otago Regional Councils and the Chief Executive are once again at odds, and this time a video ref has been called in to see who's right. We had the Prime Minister in today, and she's telling Mike about our COVID future and answers questions as to whether extra support is needed for people to get through the Omicron peak. The team who came first in the gruelling Godzone endurance race say they were pleased to win, but they have no idea what the prize was that they're competing for. A controversial data centre proposed at the foot of the Clyde Dam has been granted resource consent. And hearing loads of fellow students at Selwyn College mumbling about Shackleton yesterday was a little unnerving for Jed Shackleton until this week. the 18-year-old thought he was just another Otago University student.
Oh wow, educational for him.
Thank
All right,
you.
we'll look forward to seeing that and all the rest of your stories from the team tomorrow. Thank you, Jo Simpson. And now time for a look at tomorrow's weather. Looking at the situation, a cloudy and cool week lines up from Monday with some drizzle about the Otago coast, but mostly dry inland. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, Catlin, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore are all in for strong northerlies, some rain and highs of 19 or 20 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes region, Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra can all expect strong northerlies, rain later on while reaching 21 or 22. Variable winds for Te Anau with that rain dropping back and a high of 18. To the northern towns along the coast, expect fresh northerlies with high cloud, 26 degrees for Timaru and 23 for Oamaru. Further inland, Twizel and Omarama are in for strong northerlies, rain and highs of 22 or 23. And in Dunedin, there'll be nor'easterly winds and cloudy skies tonight, dropping to 14 degrees. Warmer to wrap up the working week tomorrow, thick high cloud and moderate nor'easterlies with late gusty winds, up to 23 down to 16. On Saturday, expect thick high cloud with fresh to strong southwesterlies, 17 the high and a low of 11 degrees. South to Invercargill now, cloudy tonight down to 15, strong gusty nor'westerlies for Friday. Early rain will clear with showers back later on, up to 20 degrees and down to 14. A showery Saturday with strong cool southwesterlies, a high of 15 and a low of 10 degrees. And that's the news this Thursday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te po, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.